Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is an old laminate countertop in desperate need of a refresh. 2 words: epoxy resin. But first, you need to moisturize your hair because you know you can't remember when's the last time you did so. And this process is going to take forever, so it's a good time now to moisturize your hair. Just a couple of things. Everything. Fine. Using a chisel, I'm going to scrape away these paint spots to get the laminate countertop as level as possible. The next step, we're going to use a very fine sanding block to get rid of the glossy finish of the countertop. And we're really not doing this to score the countertop, we're literally just getting rid of the glossiness that's on top. After sanding down the countertop, make sure you get it nice and clean. I'm just using a basic water and vinegar mix. It's pretty much a general use cleaning solution. My sister hipped me to it, so now what we're going to do is we are going to tape off the sink bowl because we don't want to get any paint on there, and we definitely don't want to get any epoxy on it because that don't belong to us. After taping off the sink bowl, we're going to protect the cabinetry. I am not going to be repainting these anytime soon. I actually like the color, the antique white that's on the cabinets, but I need to protect them from paint and the epoxy resin. So find you a large drop cloth, or I'm using an old shower curtain. Then you also need to tape off the underside edge of your countertop as well, because when the epoxy resin drips over the side, it's going to drip down here too, and this is the easiest way to remove it. Do not use masking tape, use plastic tape or duct tape. And this is the entire countertop taped off. Here is a primer that I'm going to use. I had it tinted gray because that's the color that I'm going to be painting it. Now make sure that when you start this process, you cut in the edges of your countertop. I am not cutting it in because I'm simply showing you the coverage of the primer, which was pretty awesome, and it was actually an upgrade to the countertop just with the primer on it. But yeah, use the Zinsser, it's pretty good. Using a fine finisher brush, a small one, created for very smooth surfaces, I'm going to be using this gunmetal gray acrylic paint because I could not find a dark gray paint in a store that I liked, so I'm just going to be using acrylic paint. I bought 8 of them, but I only ended up using 3. Mix them nice together. You can find them at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. Isn't it beautiful? Gray is my favorite color. It's so awesome. Now this is the part that you do not want to mess up, okay? When you start with the primer, you need to paint on the edge first, not the countertop like you saw me do. Same thing with the paint. Paint on the edge and do not overwork it. Metallic paint will get overworked very easily. Then a very general technique when using a roller on smaller surfaces, you want to overlap your painting strokes by half. So this is a 4-inch roller. You roll it down 4 inches. When you start the second layer, you want to start 2 inches over into what has not been painted and 2 inches over into what has been painted. Pretty simple. Then using a smaller roller brush to get the detailed areas around the sink bowl. Now here comes the fun part. This is the epoxy resin called Envirotex Light. This is the 32-ounce size. I bought this at Hobby Lobby. It was $34.99 and I used my 40% off coupon. If you're thinking about using this product and you've read reviews, be careful what you read because people can actually intimidate you out of using this product, which I was intimidated myself, but it's actually a really easy process. The directions are very straightforward. Make sure that you buy more than you need so that you don't have to go back and buy more and really kind of mess up your project. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to fill in as much of the countertop with the epoxy because it's going to begin to self-level. And it's great that this is self-leveling product, but you are going to have to help it out a little bit. They tell you to use a piece of stiff paper to get the areas to flow into each other like you see me doing here. But because it starts to set up and cure within 20 minutes, I believe, I went and got a disposable brush to help move the process along faster, as well as to move it along the back perimeter of the countertop. I'm including 4 photos of what the countertop looked like as it was curing. It takes 72 hours for it to cure on a countertop of this size. Smaller objects, it takes less hours, but with bar tops, countertops, they say 72 hours. I did read a blog. I'm going to include that information below. Handy in KS. She did let me know that it takes 3 to 4 weeks for it to really completely get to a point where you can start sitting stuff on it. So I've had the countertop epoxied for about 2 weeks now, and I have not sat anything on it. I did put my makeup case on it this past weekend and it left dents, but the next day they had self-healed and the dents were gone. But this is just pictures of it within like the first few hours of me actually pouring the epoxy on the countertop. After about 5 days of it curing, I went ahead and cut away the masking tape that I had around the perimeter of the countertop. This was to prevent it from getting on the tile, but I'm actually going to re-caulk it here, as you can see in a minute. I did not remove the old caulking because I knew it would be covered up by the paint and the epoxy. So after laying down a bead, you just simply smooth it over with your finger or a caulking tool, which I bought one, but it didn't work out as well. And I actually had to go back and redo the caulk again because I didn't do it as good the first time, seeing as how this is my first time ever caulking. This is my finished countertop. It's been this way for about a week now, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to include some more tips on here that I got from reading Handy and KS's blog. Make sure that you go and check out her blog because she did it on both her bathroom countertop and a kitchen countertop, but she did it years ago, so she's actually able to let you know how it lasted, how she updated it, and what to do. This is also the medicine cabinet in my bathroom. I also painted with the gunmetal gray. However, I did not gloss it with the epoxy resin because it's self-leveling. It would have just ran down. So I actually covered it with a water-based polyurethane, the same stuff that I use to do my fabric covered dresser. So stay tuned for just a couple more tips. Thank you for watching. The entire process takes about a week to complete. Allow your primer to dry thoroughly before applying your color coat, whether you paint it solid or make a faux granite look. I let a full day pass between the coat of primer and each coat of color. Use disposable bowls that are larger than the amount of epoxy you need. Mix the resin and hardener for the full required time and transfer between bowls to ensure the mixture is right. If you don't do this step, the epoxy will cure soft or sticky, and fixing that problem is expensive. If you're doing a large-scale project like this, don't do it the week of having visitors. You will not be able to use your countertop for a half a week. Do this well in advance with plenty of time available for a professional looking result. This is not a quick fix. According to Handy and KS, the countertop is self-healing for a few months after applying the epoxy, yet continues to cure and harden over time. Don't stress if you dent it accidentally in the first few weeks. In a few hours, the dent should disappear. Take it easy for the first month with heavy objects. Don't be intimidated. This project, while time-consuming, is actually fun and can be applied on a number of objects to be preserved, refreshed, or given a high gloss finish. Smaller and larger kits are available for crafts or for even bigger projects. Thanks, Handy and KS. Now go check out her blog.